Hello and welcome to the True Methods MSP Accelerator, sponsored by SolarWinds MSP. My name is Bob Penland, CTO at True Methods, and I'm joined by Gary Pica, the president of True Methods. Hey, Gary.
Hey Bob, how you doing?
Doing great. Doing great.
We're really excited to present this comprehensive MSP course to build the top MSP. Uh, let's just take a second before we get started because we're going to dive into a lot of detail during this course and maybe just start by talking about our background. So Bob, for 12 years, I ran a top performing MSP. You were part of that MSP with me. We
Yep.
scaled from 0 to 7,000 endpoints under management until it was eventually acquired. I ran that through 2008, and then in 2009 launched True Methods. And again, we've been together, you and I, through this process,
Yep.
and we've provided training and software to over 2,000 MSPs during that time.
Yep. All over the
Um,
world.
so we have a comprehensive video library, a portal of training on every aspect on how to run a top MSP, in addition to our software, MyIT Process, which is really the framework for some of the core things that we talk about. In addition to that, a long history with SolarWinds MSP, and before that, Enable really goes back to the beginning of my MSP. So we're really happy that they continue to bring content and information to help their partners, but also the industry. So we're really appreciative for this opportunity. Oh, and one other thing, Bob, we are investors partners together in another MSP here in the Philadelphia marketplace. That one we don't actually run. We have a president who runs it. We're advisors to that one. So yeah, this is pretty much how we spend all of our time. Uh,
In, around, and on MSPs, right?
yeah, absolutely. Uh, you know, we've been in business here at True Method since '09, and really what I would say is the business framework, the things we're going to teach today, is really the platform for top MSPs. We This framework is used by 20% of the Channel Futures 501. And again, it's those two pieces, which is our Formula One training program and our software, MyIT Process, that allows you to build a standards library and perform compliance, alignment, and build your VCIO process. So that's what you're going to get from this accelerator. The short story is this course provides a framework for building a top performing MSP. Whether you're a startup, a mid-size MSP, or a larger MSP, everyone at all those categories will benefit from the material in this course in terms of sales, profitability, scalability. And I can assure you, as we've been training people for 10 years, that everyone who completes this course will make positive changes. Now, in our training program, Bob, we probably in our portal have over 150 hours of training in detail. But what this is, we have synthesized down approximately 3 hours, around 3 hours of that content into really everything that's the core so people can get the right perspective and actually make the right decisions in their business. So if you're a startup, if you're a VAR or IT provider transitioning or struggling, if you're a mid-size MSP looking to grow, and we find with as we work with a lot of top MSPs, they're really interested, okay, in that profitability, moving up their profitability, what we call their leverage or increasing their efficiency and making themselves more scalable. So we're gonna speak to all that. But let's start with the current market conditions today for MSPs. Man, Bob, we've been able to watch this, and I've been doing this for over 20 years, and over these past 5 years, especially since during that time we've owned our new MSP, we've really seen a market maturation. So the number and the quality of MSPs really has increased, right?
Yeah, I would say that our prospects and clients know more about what MSP services are and should be. And there's a lot more tools available, and it's a lot easier to enter that market. So there's definitely been a proliferation of both MSPs and the tools that we're able to use.
Yeah, there's so many tools for MSPs, and they're affordable for everyone. You know, whether you've been in business for 10 years or 10 minutes, you can get access to the same tools and technology. Because of that, we've seen some signs of commoditization. But I'll tell you what's interesting. There's more MSPs and more competition, but the addressable market is so much bigger now, Bob, right? And
Hmm.
so the number of people that want to work and outsource, and in terms of our prospective customers, is growing at the same or a faster rate. So why this market maturation and proliferation of tools has created some signs of commoditization in the middle or lower end of the market. We've also seen market polarization. So leaders have emerged, and in almost every marketplace, we have people that are, struggling with profitability and add revenue and command the right price. But there's also in those same markets people that are growing every month. They're commanding higher prices. Their margins are improving to the best the industry have seen. So we want to talk about really what separates the top 20% of this market from the middle or the bottom 20% with everything that we're going to talk about with these things. So here's the biggest challenges that the MSPs tell us. Number one, adding new, selling more monthly recurring revenue. Number one, people tell us that they need to add more monthly recurring or MRR.
Yeah.
Value, in other words, they need to command a price that's higher than what their value might be today. That's a core issue, and because of that, we see profitability as something that is a challenge, and scalability. We call them impact zones. There are certain natural places in terms of MRR amounts that people hit, whether it's 50 or 100. There's a big one at 150,000 a month where they get to these impact zones and they kind of get stuck. And some of them, we've seen some people get to a certain level and they've been stuck there for years, Bob. And
Yeah.
everyone's going to understand why they hit them. If you've not hit them, how to avoid them, and if you're in one, how to get through it.
Okay.
So that's going to be
Good.
awesome. And really some results. So average providers when it comes to the average all-in seat price. So in other words, the average price you command per seat. If you take all your recurring revenue, divide it by all the seats that you or users you support. Average companies are, 100 or less, $110 on average per seat, where top providers are in the 140 to 160 a seat range, a huge difference. Their average deal size, their average MRR, their average customer is worth a lot more, 3,500 compared to 2,000. And obviously, because of that, you see the difference. Average providers in the 10% range compared to the very top providers, 25% net profit or more. And finally, their leverage, which is how much annual service revenue do they generate based on the total number of employees in their company. If you do that math, average providers, they generate 50% less service revenue if you compare them to other people that have the same amount of employees. Pretty dramatic, man.
Yeah. Yep.
And here's some of the keys. Um, Bob, we start with that first one, service delivery structure. People wouldn't think
Mhm.
we would start there, but I think they're going to learn that through this course, right? That's number one.
Yeah, you have to have well-defined roles. You have to have a structure for delivery so you can consistently provide value to your clients. And that consistent word is really important. The top providers, the ones who have the highest leverage or the highest margins, are able to consistently deliver the same result to their clients, at same high level, high value results. So that service delivery structure, really important. We'll talk about that throughout the videos here.
Yeah, that's going to be the center really of everything that we talk about and that people can relate back to. That's the center of the framework. Then we're going to have people understand some math behind top performers. There's some simple math that you can use, and we're going to share it with you and then be able to create a competitive advantage. You have to be able to create what we call separation in the marketplace, where when you talk to a prospective customer and they're talking to you and two other MSPs, that you can separate yourself from them and how you do that. Finally, packaging and pricing, super critical. What do you include? What not to include? How do you know how to price your services? How do you pack value into your offering? And then
Mhm.
finally, once you've done all that, what's the basic structure of a sales process or a sales engine that's going to allow you to grow. And so these are this is the course overview. So these are the videos that you're going to be able to go through, what we call the MSP value revolution, and then some core things around standards and alignment in the VCIO process. We're going to lay out the structure that we set up for a framework for MSPs, packaging, and then pricing, sales, and then talk about some next steps. So we're really excited. A couple terms you're going to hear often. One I mentioned already, which is AISP, all-in seat price. And this is a metric, again, that shows what your average price is per seat. All of your recurring revenue divided by all the seats you support, that's your average, and that's going to be critical. MRR is monthly recurring revenue, NRR, non-recurring revenue, and finally something that we're going to teach you that we call REM. It's a measure of reactive service, and that stands for reactive hours per end user per month. So these are some important terms we're going to use. So let's go, Bob. Let's prepare to, like, everyone, you're going to change your perspective, and you're also going to raise your expectations about what's possible in this business. So I want to wish everybody good luck. Tell them to enjoy this course. We're happy to take you through it. It's going to be a blast. And it's time, Bob, to change your business and change your life.
Awesome. Thanks, Gary.